chain our own every day. Where Bola Tiunbu say na in tone na reach to manage Nigeria as if say Nigeria na one person property. Because that word na my tone, that means you are practically saying that it is yours. You understand? You not do enroll, but you won't get promotion. However, he do like he promote himself and he put himself for that place. We no feel own because na him be the person where be say he decide say na him go the cut and na him go the sew and na him go the do everything. No problem. But just go over us well. That is all we are asking. So the magic we be saying do for Lagos. Now we the Nigerians be don't they wait for time now. Make it come do one for us. That has not come. But however, not be my mouth now go for here. And one give una the video waiting for the talk say right now he don't ready to take Nigeria to the next level. I hope you will take Nigeria to the next level in peace, so in good health. Because country where be say people they die to drag food for rice now. That one not be good health. So wanna see the video.
Welcome back to our Rise Primetime, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Somna Sambo. And now President Bola Tiunbu says he takes full responsibility for the economy of the country and is assuring Nigerians that he's working to lead Nigeria towards economic and social prosperity. Addressing Afenifere leaders at the residence of Parube and Fashoranti in Akure, the Ondo State capital, President Tinubu emphasized his commitment to ensuring Nigeria is reformed for greater efficiency. He said Nigeria will survive the current economic challenges and that there's light at the end of the tunnel. On reforming Nigeria, President Tinubu said his task will be to ensure fiscal and true federalism. And of course, earlier today in Lagos, he was very hard on the labor unions, especially the NLC, stating that the NLC was getting political at some point, and if it wants to contest elections, it should wait till 2027 and not join the opposition against his government. Well, for more on this, I'm now being joined in the studio by Paul Ibe, who is special advisor to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. So I don't know what you think about the submission by the presidency, that those of you in the opposition are in one way or the other sponsoring protests against him, and it looks like the labor union has joined you people to actually kick against his government. You have been providing lots of proposals and hitting him hard. You think he's speaking to you through the labor unions?
Somna, we are not the opposition. We are Nigerians. We are stakeholders in this project. And whether Bola Tinubu likes it or not, he has to succeed. I know, however, that it is easier to snatch, grab, rig, than it is to govern. He's a Milokon. Our Lokon, we need to put him in check. It's our responsibility as stakeholders in this project. Well, it's about time he took responsibility. He has to. It's taken 9 months. And he wanted to govern Nigeria. He had been handed the reins of government. And so that he has to take ownership of everything, the assets and the liability. So he's saying, what he's saying is nothing new. He should have taken responsibility from day one. But the question is he up to that responsibility?
Well, governance is a very serious game. That's what we've seen. But I'm just taking you back to sometime in 2012 when we had a similar situation that subsidy was removed and all of that. President Tinubu wrote a very long epistle telling President Jonathan that he had broken the social charter with the Nigerian people and saying it shouldn't have been removed on time and all of that. Now, I've seen the bickering between you and the government, including about the $3 billion that the government took as loan, which people say that we haven't really seen much. As you try to provide economic alternatives through your submission, the government also tries to say that it looks like you're not seeing things the way they are in the government. So how do you, how do you see that perspective?
Prophet Tinubu, before he became President Tinubu, was speaking about this time in 2012 in the episode that you referred to. Because there was nothing in that letter that could not be situated in 2024. You know, so, I mean, we've been waiting for the magic, you know, that Tinubu had. The magic that led to his building Lagos, We forget that Lagos has been the federal capital for donkey years, has enjoyed resources, infrastructure development. And so I wonder where, the claim that he built Lagos, came from. Now is the time for the hard work. Let him walk, the talk. I mean, where are those magical things that were attributed to him? Where is his so-called economic team? What we are seeing in the last 9 months is trial by error. Is the kabu kind of economic policy, where you pick passengers, drop them in Ojuelegba, change course, start heading to Oshodi. That's what we have been seeing play out in the last 9 months. So nothing seems to have changed. But again, let us ask ourselves a question. What did Tinubu promise us? Tinubu promised that he was going to follow the path of former President Buhari. What was that path? Massive loan, taking of loan. We haven't taken loan to pay the interest on the loan, not the loan itself, not the principal.
Yeah.
Buhari was known for bigotry and nepotism, crass bigotry and nepotism. That's why we say, play out. Why must ministers and government officials of choice cabinet positions come from a section of the country? Aren't we done with that? We thought we had seen the worst of that during the Buhari era. But here we are. It's a continuation. It's a continuation of the Buhari policy.
And do you think this government is overwhelmed?
They're going to be overwhelmed. And what we're asking as the opposition is that they need to be very deliberate about the choices that they make, the policy choices. You see, our future, not about it. You should stop this scapegoatism. It reminds me of the animal farm of Napoleon and Squilla, who had a knack for blaming, now in this case, contest, for everything that has gone wrong. No, the problem is it's inside of them. First of all, the cabinet that they have a lot of people there who are doing nothing, who don't have the set skills, other than the fact that they were there because of political consideration. Okay, they're asking us that, the elections are over. We should, but look at what Tinubu is doing, playing politics in 2027, speaking to NLC. That means that he's not prepared for even governance.
That's because he says some of you are sponsoring NLC and protests against his government.
maybe that was learned from the APC in 2012 during the what's it called?
AC and then
2013, 2014. Maybe they learned from them. And that was the era. You forgot what happened. They were calling a former president's wife, uncomplimentary names. What is it that they said in 2013, 2014 that is not playing out, today?
Well, I remember one very strong one then, which really caused political uproar everywhere, when there was a remark made that Jonathan was running a kindergarten presidency.
So what are we running now? You ask yourself. What we are running now is worse than a kindergarten presidency. What we are running is a juvenile presidency.
Well, interesting times ahead of us, but the nation is reeling from these economic reforms that President Tinubu has brought in place. And he says it's a temporary measure. You could see him with Ruben Fashoranti, the Afenifere leader, and he was saying that, look, I know that there have been protests, including in my region where I come from, but these are temporary economic reforms that will soon be seeing the outcome, the beautiful things, the destination that we're going to. How soon do you think we should believe President Tinubu to take us to the promised land?
First of all, I don't believe him that these are temporary measures. I don't believe that these measures, these policies were well thought through. They are haphazard, and they didn't look at the implications of some of the things that they did, the timing, and all of that. So, because if he did, why would the expansion of government, taking the ministerial this thing to 48, right? The biggest in the history of Nigeria, and you're talking about cutting costs.
Yeah, I mean, the Oronsaye reports.
This is a country where 97% of our revenue is spent on loan, on servicing. You know, interest of loan, not the loan itself, not the principal. And then you saw the convoy in Lagos. Those vehicles were Toyota brand. I didn't see any Innocent. I didn't see Nord. You know, like your colleague, Rufai was talking about. What happened to Made in Nigeria? You know, back then when we were young, in school, we were using Chinese, T-shirts, for sporting this. Once anybody drags you or this in it, the thing gets torn. But they improved over time. They shut their border. We don't need to close our border, but we can use policy, to ensure that the things that come into Nigeria are essentially what we need. And these are money that you're borrowing. The Senate, which is part of this government, because you cannot remove the National Assembly from this government, 160 million for a vehicle, a jeep, in this season, when Nigerians, having a multidimensional poverty and hunger. Hunger is on all fours, walking all over these, cities. Crime is on the upsurge. You saw what happened, was it in Lagos, the other day, over the weekend? A thief passed through the sewage to rob, a place in an estate. And they discovered that, and they were able to apprehend him. And it's happening all over the place.
And so what alternatives are you offering? I mean, you are the opposition and you're supposed to be loyal to the country. If it were in the UK, I mean, you say Her Majesty or His Majesty's loyal opposition. I mean, shouldn't you be providing alternatives? We are providing alternatives. If Tinubu says this and it's not working well, what would you have done better if you were in government?
We are providing, if you look at the engagement that we have had, there is none of them listening. We are providing alternatives on a daily basis. The question is, are they even capable of deciphering, what we are saying? Are they prepared, for this? It's like somebody who didn't pass through school. How would the school pass through you? You didn't learn, you learned nothing. So this fabled Tinubu, this thing was, I think the man was, it was just a make-believe.
Well, and to think that Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, your principal, were colleagues, they were almost in the same line of political thinking at some point in time. Shouldn't it be time for friends to help friends? With ideas. If Tinubu has run out of ideas, shouldn't Atiku Abubakar provide help to a friend in need? This
is not about Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu. This is about Nigeria. And I believe that His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, as a patriot, has used, all available, opportunities that he has to be able to pass, a message across. Listen, diversity, inclusiveness is a tool for national unity. Do you understand what I'm talking about? It is. I'm tempted to conclude that there is a deliberate policy, which wasn't started by the Tinubu, then Buhari, to ensure that the southeast of Nigeria is, under, perpetual, crisis. Why do I say that? Why is it that years after, Sunday Igboho just buried his, mother, he had the benefit of burying his mother. Nnamdi Kanu did not. He was in detention. So Sowore is free, man. The court had just struck out, the matter that the federal government took him to court. Colonel Dasuki became a free man about 2 years or thereabout ago. What is it that Nnamdi Kanu did that they didn't do? Or perhaps the reason why he's still in detention is that his name is Nnamdi Kanu. I'm not a supporter of separatist. I don't promote separatist agenda. But what is good for the geese is good for the gander. We must take cognizance of the fact that as long as Nigeria is one entity and we are one people, what applies to Sumner must apply to Paul Ibe. Otherwise, anybody that thinks they're going to ride on the back of others to achieve their agenda, as far as this Nigeria is concerned, like I'm saying, as long as we remain the country that we are, that person is, has something.
All right, very well said. And of course, Buhari has said that that voting actually has consequences. So if the Southeast didn't vote for him, he felt that the Southeast was just a dot in the circle.
When the elections are over, whether a group voted for you or not, whether an individual voted for you or not, you have a responsibility to them. I mean, he just said that he has a responsibility. And that responsibility includes to those who didn't vote for him.
Well, that's for patriotic leaders, actually, people who want to build a nation. We must thank you so much. Paul Ibe is a special advisor to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and of course he has been